So, welcome to the Becoming More podcast, where you too can become more. See, if you're living on the edge of change, because after all, this world is going very, very fast. Speed, uncertainty, and conversations feel more like tightropes than bridges. And people are nervous to speak, quick to react, and slow to truly listen. I think the trust breaks down. With me today is a special guest. I was able to meet her in Puerto Rico, and we just hit it off. Let me tell you, this lady is a keynote speaker. Jennifer Edwards is an executive coach and a co-author of Bridge the Gap, and she's delivered more than 900 keynotes. And you're now helping other people with keynotes as well, Jennifer. Let's just have a conversation, and they'll get to know you even more. So let's start out with why do you think most conversations fail in today's world?
A great question. It is, we are in a noisy world. Brains are overwhelmed. And I know every single one of us listening and between you and me, we know this. People are on edge.
Yeah.
We have way too much information being thrown at us, whether it's from news, we don't know whether to believe or not, social media, also to like the heavy backpacks we're carrying of our life's burdens and choices and even our hopes. It is hard for that prefrontal cortex to make meaning of what's in front of it. And so conversations have gotten pretty dicey today.
Well, and you know what's interesting? People already know why you and I hit it off, because I've been studying the brain since 8th grade, right? With my brother and sister both having brain tumors. And of course, you've been studying that as well. Why do people actually engage with one another? Why do they feel safe to open up to you? Because I saw people in Puerto Rico talking to you, telling you stories that I'm going, okay, she has literally opened up their unconscious mind to just spill their guts. So spill it with us. How do we do that? If we're in a boardroom, for heaven's sakes.
Well, I'll spill it, but it's also your magic sauce. And it's people who are present invite the brain in front of them to open up.
Yeah.
People who are present. That presence is really about being in the place with the other person, with the other brain, without an agenda of trying to push on another person, maneuver or manipulate another person, or have an expectation that's unreasonable. And so, Dianna, I know you do that too. And I'd love to hear what you've learned over the years. But when I can just show up in the moment, fully attentive, attuned with that other person, everything can change.
Well, it's an energy, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, I say it's one of the energies of success, that when you're in the present moment, people feel that energy and they're drawn into it. Another energy is gratitude. And I know that you're very big on gratitude as well.
It is. Gratitude, it sets our energy frequency. And it's a practice that changes everything.
You know, it was so interesting, because I was very grateful to John Maxwell and Ryan Leake that had a few of us come down, and we did a presentation and we received feedback from two great communicators and speakers, right? And there were some folks down there that they also presented. And as I watched these two men who I knew, right? And you know who I'm talking about. We can talk about them a little bit here, but I'm going to keep the people on edge. They did a talk about, are you in rhythm, or is your company out of rhythm? And I was so drawn into that speech. I was so drawn into the way they communicated that I had to find out who helped you with the speech, because I'd heard them speak before and it was not the same speech, right? This keynote, and they were only 12 minutes that you were able to speak to either capture the attention or have the crowd want to leave, right? Some people you want to leave. Others, like these two people, they drew you in. And when they told me it was you, I knew I had to meet you. I love to meet people that are fabulous at what they do. So, what got you involved in helping speakers?
Well, what got me involved in helping speakers is I believe that everyone has a unique gift that they can bring
Yes.
out into the world. They were knit in their mother's womb with something special. Yours
Right.
is leadership and helping people learn how to master their influence in the most positive of ways. That's what I've seen you do for 30 years when I just knew you from afar. And what I believe, no, really, I remember it back in those days. When I met you first in
Back in the
Austin.
days. That means
Not
I'm old.
a leader. No. I was a young leader and you walked into that room with such presence, with such authority, but your authority wasn't over people, it was with them. Your
Good.
influence didn't push people, it invited them. And as John says, your influence falls downhill. It comes downstream and it's who you've always been. And I felt that in the moment. And so, what got me into helping people deliver their keynote speeches is this one thing: you have a special gift to bring. Let me help you figure out how to bring it so it can reside and resonate in the actual nervous system of your audience.
Well, and you don't just read about people, you actually delve into their life. How many days did you spend learning about these two young gentlemen?
Well, they came to me as a result of John Maxwell. So thank you, John, again for all of your connections. And these lads came to me, and we spent 2 days deciphering what their secret magic sauce was through conversations, through learning about their childhood, through learning about what their values were, what they stood for, what their vision and mission was. And in that, we discovered that actually their keynote, their key deliverable, the thing that they could bring to the world uniquely, being world champions in Irish dances, there are times to think on beat, and then there are times to think off beat. And they had this big aha. Holy cow, that's a universal idea. Let's show people that. And that's
Well,
where we
so you just came up with that while you were speaking with them and interviewing them and getting to know them. Though, how many days did you take, or if I could say hours, I'm not sure. I just know you spent a lot of time
10 hours.
before. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because to really know someone and to really architect something deep is to understand how it sits in their brain and their heart guts, right? Like these two guts that sit here,
Yeah.
right? And that was what was revealed. And once we get that nugget and out of anyone, there's something to go and offer that audience.
Okay. And then you help them write the speech. Is
Right.
correct? Okay,
Yep.
good, good.
Yep.
So you talk about 5 words. Tell me more about that. What are 5 words?
The 5 words, tell me more about that, are words that are absolutely guaranteed to open the brain. And let me show you the difference between them. Diana, if I ask you this question, why is there no coffee left for me today? What did it make you feel?
Like I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The why question is a question we've been taught to ask people. And it actually puts us in corners. It
right.
makes us go to polarity. But my new book that's coming out is called Tell Me More About That. And there are 5 words that open the brain. So tell me about what's happening with the coffee. Like, tell me about why there's no more coffee left. Tell me why it changes the way the brain engages with a piece of information or a question. And in
Yeah.
this aggressive world we're in, where information comes at us, where we go to fight or flight way too quickly, what words we use matter.
Well, and the way the brain works, and see, this is one of the things I never had any idea, Jennifer, that studying the brain would actually help me be a great salesperson, would help me
Yeah.
be a great leader. Understanding that our brain wants clarity. Our brain it doesn't want to be surprised. It wants to know what's happening. And just the words that we use, you can think various things, yet the words we speak, that's where the real gold is. And some people don't realize what words they're using. And when you said, tell me more about that versus why did that happen? I mean, your tonality is even different.
Yeah. You have a book right behind your head called Becoming More.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I happen to like the author of that book,
I know.
and
Do you happen to know her?
well,
What I want
and
to tell you about that book is that's your book is about that. It's
yeah,
about
well,
that at
yeah,
a
it's
deep
about training the brain, right? And that's what you help do. You help open up the brains of the audience that people are speaking to by
yeah.
helping them craft the words that will actually allow that to happen. Because so many people, they're speaking to the conscious mind when the conscious mind thinks in questions, the unconscious mind thinks in stories. And in between is either some type of emotion, generally fear, and you're working with all these words, which is why I was so attracted to you, because we were talking the same language, about how do we get into the brains of the audience to where they lean forward, they desire to listen to the words that you have to say, and more importantly, they'll implement the ideas that you have. That's quite a unique proposition that you offer people, and you're a master at it.
Well, I'm a master at it, and I've learned from other masters like you and like John and other people. And here's what they all share in common. They give a keynote experience, a speech, any engagement gives the nervous system a touch point that has the nervous system say, hmm, what's different from this? And when the nervous system gets activated and it sees something that it can become more of, it leans in. And most great keynotes don't do that. Most keynotes don't do it. Great ones, they move the nervous system to think differently. And I mean, Diana, isn't that what you teach in sales? Is to get people into that, talking to the nervous system.
Well, yeah, and when you're on stage, that's who you talk to. A lot of people, oh, they motivate you. They get you up, they get you rah, rah, rah. I mean, some of them even have cheerleaders on stage, right? And boy, you come out of there going, whoa, I feel good. And an
Yeah.
hour later, you're going, what they talk about? What they talk about? What did I learn? What can I implement? How will it make me become more? Because that's what we're really here for, is to help others become all they can be. At least that's what I thought I
Oh,
was here
100.
for. I don't know about you, but
And you make a really, really good point. I oftentimes think that I want to help people move away from a keynote that's just entertaining because
yeah.
there's no stickiness in it. There's no transformation in that. It's like a shower. You have to take it over and over again. It's something that sticks with you forever. And the most powerful keynotes, the ones that I will never forget, are places that moved my nervous system to become something more, to learn something new, and some taste, some tidbit, some aroma that I could take away, implement, and see an absolute immediate change in my life and
Well,
how I work.
let's talk about some of those, because some of the people that I have absolutely loved are like the Zig Ziglars, that he had the pump and he got you. There was emotion, yet there was also teaching. And he
Yeah.
taught a lot with metaphors and stories that stuck in your brain. Are you finding that stories are a great way to help your keynote move forward?
A great one. My favorite line in training keynote speakers is this: never make a point without telling a story, but never tell
Mm.
a story without a point. And so the story and the point have to be anchored and married together for the maximum impact. And the other piece I know you know is that every story, just like parables in scripture, they speak to us at where we are and where we might go, who we might become. And so the stories that land best are always one where I can put myself in that position from compassion, from empathy, from learning. And
Mhm.
those are stories that will resonate and stick with people, the ones that they'll go home and say, hey, I got to tell you this thing I learned. And they won't tell you the thing, they'll tell the thing through the story, right?
Are you finding that the best stories are about the speaker personally, or stories that don't involve the speaker?
That's a really good question. Nobody's asked that before. Hmm. I think I'd have to tell you both.
Okay.
I'd
And
love to hear your answer. So
I
can I?
I'm not sure, because I know that the brain if they don't put themselves in the story, you've lost it anyway. So it really doesn't matter, does it? Is it more about the audience being able to see themselves? I mean, like when I would tell the story about the little red wagon, and
Yep.
I couldn't afford a babysitter, so I put my kids in a little red wagon and went door to door. Now, they never put their kids in a little red wagon. As the story goes on, though, it's going from the red wagon to the C-suite. Oh, they've had something in their life
Resonate
that
with that.
was
Yeah.
like, what's your red wagon, so to speak, because we all have one.
That's
So
good.
how do you put someone into that story? Let's help the people that are listening to this right now, that maybe they give trainings, maybe they give keynotes, maybe they just even want to talk to their family. What advice do you have for all of us on how we can have that person actually engage with us, allowing us to influence the way that they think so they think bigger?
Well, number one, let's use your red wagon as an example. People will see themselves in a story when you yourself are willing to be vulnerable, when you're
Mm,
willing to walk people through the most fragile parts of your story and not just the wins. So that's number one. Be willing to show that authentically. Number
yeah.
two, I do believe that you can tell stories just like it's like a parable. A lot of times the parables were told in a third party so we could see ourselves there, like I just explained. I
Right.
think there's a lot of value in telling what other successful people have done. Um, and what I have learned from what they have done and how you might learn as well. Overall, the key message for using stories is it has to be one of three key anchors. It has to be relatable. It has to be focused on tomorrow or what you can become more of. And finally, it has to be something that they can feel in their nervous system, not something abstract,
Hmm.
but something that they can feel. You got to take them through a story arc that has them say, oh, yeah. Like they take them through that story arc of pain to possibility every time.
Well, let's do that a little bit. Let's
Okay.
go through a story arc, if you will, because the minute you said that, I know our listeners are going, "What's a story arc? I've never heard of that before."
Okay. So a story arc takes people if we have what we call a neutral line where emotion is at flat or neutral. A story
Okay.
arc of a great speech starts up the neutral line and it has a crescendo. It has the possibility of what's possible. And that's where the aim of the story or the presentation comes. But then what it does is it takes you down past neutral, past neutral, down into the tribulations, the challenges it will take, the absolute growth it will take to get there. And a great story arc returns you just back above neutral with the skills, the tactical, practical outcomes you can take into your real life to create change.
It
Story
almost
arc.
reminds me of stories where you have a victim, a villain, and a hero, or
Yeah.
that the guy meets the gal,
Yeah.
they fall in love, they have a fight, that's the tribulation, then all
Yeah.
of a sudden they get back together. And so you're taking the people, what I call on a roller coaster ride a little
Yeah.
bit, because emotion makes them act. Logic makes them think, emotion makes them act. Without emotion in a keynote, I mean, it's kind of like blah, isn't it?
So true. And it's really you catch people more often in the tribulation than you catch them on the hope.
Oh,
Because we're
that's great.
all in the tribulation. We're all in that like, can I do this? And it's in there that the transformation happens. And then the goal is to leave them with a clear set of next steps so they can actualize, they can realize upon the learnings you've just presented in their own nervous system.
Well, and you used a word there that I want to make certain everyone hears. You said clear. The brain loves clarity. And so, I mean, you spent over 20 years watching brilliant, motivated people uh, miss each other by inches. I mean,
Oh,
and you're a great connector of people to people. We were just talking about Rabbi Jason, who sits on the round table of the chosen, right? And how he was just with you speaking. And I went, you're kidding. He's coming to Austin. I have breakfast with him on Monday. This is so fun. And so now we have people in common, which was another connection point for us. Now you're brilliant at helping connect people. Give us some things about what you have learned on how to connect people together, because there is an art to it.
Yeah, there is an art to it. One of the most powerful ways to connect people is through a process of edification. And is that a word you've talked about in your podcast?
We can. I have not.
Edification is the idea that what we do is we don't share when we're connecting people what they do. We share who they be.
I love that. I love that.
And so like Dianna, if I were to connect you to someone, I wouldn't say, you got to meet her. She was the former CEO. She's done all of this. Like, ugh. People don't buy what you do. No, I'm sorry. I mean, congratulations for both of our accomplishments. People don't buy what you do. They buy, metaphorically, why you do.
You are.
And so I would say, I want to introduce you to a woman who has had impact. She knows how to speak to people's hearts. She knows how to teach people about what generosity and giving means. And when you leave this conversation, you're going to feel and know something about yourself you didn't know before. Go have a great cup of coffee and let me know how it goes.
Well, see right there, you already drew them in because you're telling them something that they would obtain by actually listening or meeting someone. So you do what I call the win-win situation, because you're winning with who this person is. So you're drawing them in with emotion. Then you actually give them like, hey, here's something that you're going to take away once you're there. You're helping to set an expectation, which you and I both know the brain is always setting expectations. So we either set it for them or they set it for themselves. And
that is so good.
That.
Hold on. That is so good. That's the best line we've had on this whole thing. We either set it for them. I'm not joking. Or it's set for themselves.
Yeah. Well, and that's what you did in boardrooms. I mean, let's look at who you are. You literally gave solid strategies in boardrooms where a lot of women are told that, make it sound like it's somebody else's idea. So they go, yes, I love that, right? And at dinner tables where the one-liners that you have, people stop and they listen and they move forward. Because see, you already know it. Our listeners know it. They don't care how much you know. They do care about how much you care about them. And that's what Zig Ziglar taught me many years ago. And the brain will listen. It wants to know, but it will tune you out when it's all about the person that's talking. The brain doesn't want to hear it.
There's, I tell this people all the time, they don't like hearing it, but here it goes. People don't really care about you. They want to talk about themselves.
Well, there was a story, and I know that you've used this, and you could probably tell me who it is. There were two people running for prime minister, and one gentleman, he was the most brilliant person in England. Everybody knew how wise he was, how intelligent he was, and yet this guy that wasn't so intelligent, he won. He won the election. And so they were interviewing this very highly recognized woman who was a newscaster. And they said, why do you think he won? I mean, he wasn't as smart. He wasn't as charismatic. And she goes, oh, that is so simple. I went to dinner with both of them. And the first gentleman that was so wise and wonderful and terrific, all he did was talk about himself. So when I left, I knew He was the wisest and most intelligent man in all of England. And then she said, I went to dinner with the other man that wasn't so intelligent, wasn't so charismatic. And you know what? I left that dinner thinking I was the most intelligent woman in all of England. She said, of course he won. So I thought that was so good.
Great story. Yeah. Well, people don't remember what you say, they remember how you made them feel. Who said that, by the way?
Yeah,
Such a famous quote, but it's true.
that's
What
good.
experience did you give people in the room? And did you give them a chance
Yeah.
for their brain to feel seen, understood, and trusted? Because if you did, they're going to remember you. But if you didn't,
Well,
forgettable.
the Gardner brothers are who we've been talking about, in case you're wondering who these men are. Some of you that were on the trip to Greece with John Maxwell, you saw them perform. Many of you, if you've ever watched river dancing, they are the world champions in this, the two brothers. And you took something, a God-given talent that they had mastered. I mean, they are masters of the dance, and they do it so well together on beat. And you took that and made a keynote speech that they're taking all around the world. Now, you've helped other people. So talk to us a little bit about, okay, not tell me who, yet what was the most difficult keynote speech you ever helped develop?
Probably for a physician who
Mm.
was who's a big keynote speaker, a plastic surgeon, actually. This may give it away eventually, but who in the end thought her gift was changing people's bodies. He really
Oh,
focuses on cancer patients and weight loss people and that.
yeah.
And what we were able to do that changed everything, the hardest thing for her to see was actually that's not really what she does. What she does is help people grow confidence and to live in a beautiful body and build a beautiful life. That
Yeah,
she
she
was,
transformed them from the inside out.
yes, and she didn't see that in the beginning. And it
Oh
was
my
really hard
word.
to get her there. And then
Yeah.
that changed everything because now, whether it's plastic surgery, whether it's a breast cancer survivor, whether it's a weight loss patient, she was able to realize that her core talent and her core gift to share the world is we can all do that.
Well, and I'm sure that she had people that she performed surgery on, and no one could see. Like my nephew,
Yeah.
he was a ski jumper. Well, he made one jump, and the ski, the way he hit,
Yeah.
came right up through his jaw. It cracked and went right over 400 stitches.
Oof.
And when the plastic surgery, he had many surgeries, yet we couldn't see anything that had really happened, yet he could still see the stitches. They weren't there, but in his mind, they were there. And I'm sure that she saw that. So I see an entire audience that have some form. I mean, our bodies are not perfect, for heaven's sakes. There's always something that we don't like, right? And so they look at it that way and they still see themselves that way. Like the flower girl. Oh, this is a very old movie, right? The flower girl with Professor Higgins.
Oh,
And
yeah.
she said, oh,
I remember that well.
right. She says, he'll always see me as a flower girl. He'll never see me as, what was the name? My Fair Lady,
Fair lady.
right? And he had made her one of the fairest ladies of all. And everybody saw her that way, except Professor Higgins, because he still saw her as she was when he met her. Now, here's the interesting part, because you help a lot of leaders. Leaders need to see people better than they are. They need to speak to people better than they are, right? You speak to them here if they're here and help them fill in the gap. You do this with audiences. So I want to get down to this because I think people need to know what you have to offer. And I'm excited to be joining you on this because we're going to take people in, help them with their keynote. So if you have a book out there, just let's talk about this a little bit because I think this is very important to help people.
I am so glad to be partnering with you on this. So, what we're going to be doing together is bringing authors, speakers, people have an idea that they really want to bring out to the world and they know that they're called to. And we're going to help them design an experience, not just a speech, an
Right.
experience that will speak to the audience, with the audience, and engage the audience to action. And we're going to do two things. I'm going to work more on the technical side, the words, and then I'll turn it over to you. The words, the story, and the arc. And you're going to deliver more of the experience, right, Dianna?
That's exactly right. And the greatest part about this is working with people to help them deliver their message, because everybody out there, it's like throwing a pebble into the lake, right? And those ripples keep going. There's not one great speaker. There's not two. There's numerous great speakers, and you're probably one of them that's listening to this right now. You're just not exactly certain how to put that keynote together, that it sticks with the people, how to have the energy that connects with the people. And of course, I have 4 energies of success that I teach in my book, and we'll be going through all of those in the class, and we'll be having that in August. Now, I wasn't even going to have this podcast bring this up yet. The more we talked about it, the more I thought there's got to be somebody out there listening that this makes sense, because like the Garner brothers, they're great performers. They can get up and they can dance, yet they've incorporated dance with a keynote, allowing them to go into corporations now. They have broadened their horizons, and let's face it, they're doing a lot of keynotes right now.
A lot. And
Yeah.
a lot. They've differentiated themselves. They've differentiated from just being dancers or just being talking heads. Now they have a unique special secret sauce, which all of you listening, you have it too. We'll uncover that for you. Something that they can share with the audience
Right.
that has experience with words that will create something so different and unique for you that people will say, wow, that stuck. I can take that into my own life and move forward. And that's what Dianna, you and our goal is that we want to equip more
Right.
people.
Well, that we just want to help people reach their potential, reach their dreams. You know, too many people, they put their dreams in a someday pile, which, let's face it, becomes the never pile. Let's rekindle those dreams. And if your dream is to help people to be on stage, to have a keynote speech, or even a training course, we are here to help. The other part, though, let's recap some of the things. So even if they're not interested in doing that, they leave with something that they can go, I can implement that. Number 1, we tell stories, and we'll just kind of banter back and forth here. So
Yep.
we want stories that actually reach the unconscious brain and opens it up. Okay, your turn.
We want you to tell a story of fragility, of authenticity, of some lived experience you have that will have other people know they're normal. Their gaps are normal and that they too can come back from any storm they've been in.
Right. To bring out that emotion that stirs their heart and
Mhm.
kindles that fire, actually lights the fire within, because that's the passion that will bring the audience forward when you allow your passion to show.
That's good. A keynote also makes your brain want to scratches your brain, makes your brain a little uncomfortable. And it makes your brain say, huh, never thought about it that way. It invites
Right.
you into some new thinking.
And you know, everybody has a unique way of saying something. Also, I love keynotes that stretch the brain,
Yeah.
right? That actually makes me think bigger about possibilities. Yesterday, someone said, well, Dianna, you're such an out of the box thinker. I go, that's not true. And they go, no, it's true. I said, no, I don't believe there's a box at all, because if you have a box, you've already contained yourself. Why would you want a box? You don't have to think outside the box. Just think big, right? It's a huge universe. And so we're going to do this in August. I don't even remember the dates, Jennifer.
And I think we're doing August and in October. We have 2 dates on the calendar.
Oh, we
So
do. Okay.
we
Well, there
do.
you
Yeah.
go. We're here to help you.
You and I
So
have to have our calendars managed.
Thank goodness. Thank
Yes.
goodness there are people that are great executive assistants. Isn't
Oh,
that fabulous? Everybody has
each
their niche. Everybody has something that they are so good at. And you and I were just kind of joking around about certain things, other than we're not joking about helping people. And so DiannaK.com and Jennifer, how would they reach you?
JenniferEdwards.io.
There you go. Well, that's the best one to get hold of. And Jennifer, I'm telling you, you have helped us so much. You too are a great keynote speaker, an executive coach, and I love the book Bridge the Gap, because isn't that what we're all doing? Where you're helping to build a bridge across the gap. Everybody has a gap from where they are to where they desire to be. And that book, tell me more about that. I'm excited about that one coming out, and we'll be looking for it. If you've liked this session, please subscribe to Becoming More, where you too can say, if they can do it, I can too. That's what we wish for you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Bye-bye.